What's up, my nerds? It's a good week because The Flash and Arrow come back to the CW for their second and fourth seasons respectively. So we're gonna do a preview. But first, a couple headlines. Roll it, Chauncey! Taika Waititi is in talks to direct Thor Ragnarok. Waititi is a writer, actor, and director, doing all three in his most recent project, What We Do in the Shadows. Waititi has a comedic background, but I'm hopeful that he won't turn this movie into a complete circus, like what happened to Thor the Dark World. If you disagree with me, just go watch the final battle of Thor the Dark World and tell me it's not a joke. Transformers films are planned through 2025. Universal is trying to create a shared universe for Transformers a la Marvel. They have 4 movies planned through the next 10 years. Oscar-winning writer Akiva Goldsman has joined the writing team, as well as Stephen S. DeKnight, the Netflix Daredevil showrunner, and Robert Kirkman, creator of Walking Dead. Hopefully, with this beefed up talent in the writer's room, we can avoid another Age of Extinction. And Dark of the Moon. And Revenge of the Fallen, for that matter. You know what? Screw it! Just scrap the whole thing, guys! Reboot! Mad Max director George Miller confirmed that he had met with Warner Bros. To discuss the Man of Steel sequel, but he will not be directing the project, which is currently on hold, giving me severe anxiety. And lastly, Kevin Feige, president of Marvel Studios, has confirmed that Doctor Strange will in fact be an origin story, because obviously... Alright, getting to Flash and Arrow. First things first, if you haven't watched either, I highly recommend it. Arrow truly has some great writing. If you're not hooked after the first episode, well then, we probably can't be friends. Seasons 1 and 2 are on Netflix, and if it's not already, Season 3 should be any day now. So go watch! The Flash is coming to Netflix October 6th, so set your DVR for the premiere of Season 2 and go binge on Season 1. The Flash has a much lighter tone than Arrow. Sure, at times it's a little campy or cheesy, but I think it embraces that, and it's good for the viewer to do so as well. What it has in spades is heart, and that's what makes it great. The writers have embraced the canon and are not afraid to throw the viewer into it. It's not a slow burn like so many superhero shows and movies today. They trust that we will accept and appreciate the lore of the Flash, and don't hold back. And it's truly amazing what they do on a TV budget. The special effects are better than anyone can reasonably expect from a superhero TV show, and while there are occasions when those fall just a bit short, overall they're great. And sometimes the parts where they fail are the best. Okay, getting to the upcoming seasons of these shows. Let's start with Season 2 of The Flash, which premieres Tuesday, October 6th. This season, we're delving into the multiverse. The multiverse refers to parallel universes and realities which contain within them similar characters, like alternate versions of The Flash. In Season 2, we'll be introduced to one of those right off the bat in Jay Garrick. Jay Garrick was the original Flash when the comic began in 1940. Then in 1956, the character was rebooted, and Barry Allen was the Flash. It's important to understand that when Barry Allen was introduced, the continuity did not include Jay Garrick. But later in the comics run, as the multiverse was born, Jay Garrick was brought back as a version of the Flash from a parallel universe. Fans of the show know that Barry Allen is CW's version of the Flash, but now that the multiverse is open, we'll see more than just Jay Garrick. Wally West has already been cast, and perhaps more. After various comic book events through the years, the DC run is now referred to as the New 52. After the infinite parallel universe is folded together, leaving only 52 parallel Earths. The CW's Flash seems to be leading to the Infinite Crisis event down the line. So I assume the current reality consists of infinite universes, but it's possible that there are only 52. That remains to be seen. But in this season we'll be dealing with mysterious villain Zoom, who's able to alter the time-space continuum. Another villain, an Atom Smasher, is being introduced as well, but I believe he'll become an anti-hero of sorts and join the Flash or Flashes to stop Zoom. We'll also get to see the evolution of Cisco, who discovered his own metahuman abilities at the end of last season. Cisco might actually be my favorite character, and I'm curious to see if Caitlin Snow becomes her comic book persona, but I guess we'll have to wait until the new season's frost thaws. Now, The Flash and Arrow exist within CW's DC universe, separate from the films, which is the DC Extended Universe. So The Flash and Arrow often have crossovers, and in fact, The Flash is technically a spin-off of Arrow. And 2016's Legends of Tomorrow is actually a spin-off of both shows, which will introduce Hawkman and Hawkgirl, and will bring back Firestorm, the Atom, and White Canary, who will literally be brought back. But that is a huge spoiler that I'm going to dance around in getting to Season 4 of Arrow, in which we'll be introduced to more mystical and magical elements. Well, that sounds familiar. Little did we know, Marvel has been easing us into more fantastical characters. I guess DC and Marvel both feel they need to ease us into these elements. Because we can accept a guy who runs so fast that he time travels, but an exorcist who fights demons? Come on, that's not science! So who is this exorcist I speak of? None other than John Constantine. Though his NBC show was cancelled after 1 season, Constantine will cameo on CW's Arrow for a brief period, but with major implications for Legends of Tomorrow. Enough on that though, let's get to the namesake. Oliver Queen, aka Green Arrow, left Star City formerly Starling City, don't ask, just watch, at the end of last season to drive off into the sunset with his bonny lass, Felicity Smoke. Oliver has hung up the hood and settled into the quiet life in Coast City. Comic book fans know that this is the home city of Green Lantern Hal Jordan, for whom there will actually be Easter eggs. Anyway, Diggle, Thea, and Laurel are still fighting crime in Star City, but when Damian Dark, Ra's al Ghul's former rival, shows up, they need Oliver to reclaim his mantle as the Arrow. It's been reported that in this season, Thea is insistent on being called Red Arrow, so Oliver Queen will finally become Green Arrow, and will have new duds to boot. Unfortunately, Diggle will as well, having apparently infiltrated the Marvel Universe to steal Magneto's helmet. Listen, I love Diggle, and David Ramsey, who plays him, has been on record as being bummed out by the fan backlash for his new helmet, and he assures us that his new costume is going to be good, so I will accept it for his sake. This one's for you, Dave! So the whole gang will be back together to stop yet another villain from his ultimate goal of destroying Star City. But I think it's the interpersonal relationships that will be the highlight of this season. John and Oliver burying the hatchet, Oliver guiding Thea into becoming a true hero, Oliver and Detective Lance patching things up, Oliver learning to love Oliver. That last part is kind of true, because Stephen Amell, who plays the Arrow, says he'll actually smile this season. It's also rumored that Oliver will meet his illegitimate son, of whom he's unaware, and personally I really hope that becomes a major storyline. It looks like we'll have a familiar structure of the season, with an epic 2 or 3 episode finale of Star City's defenders saving the town against insurmountable odds. Again, the interpersonal relationships will look to be the highlight of this season, but I'm sure there'll be enough badass ass-kickery to satiate us. Ah! Oh, I just tore everything. Alright, that's all for today. Tell me in the comments which show you were more excited for and why. And set your DVRs for The Flash on Tuesday, October 6th at 7 p.m. and Arrow on Wednesday, October 7th at 8 p.m. The season should be on Netflix any minute now, so go catch up if you need to. But first, subscribe to my channel and then share it, because that's what friends do. Adios, superloaders!